Well, hello there. Welcome. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, coming off a weekend, starting a brand new week of broadcasts with you, with the show team. We've got Michael, Jeff, and Rich all are in place. And we thank you for tuning in to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie here on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. I'm Jerry Usher, along with Debbie Georgiani. Yeah. Hey.
We got to practice that.
We do. Yeah,
I know.
We really should.
Let's practice after the show. We'll practice that.
Okay.
Okay, so today we're talking about the lowest point in your life. And if you could share with us what has been the lowest point of your life and share the story and what happened, some of the details, not everything. We don't want you to out anybody or anything. We want you just to share the lowest point. You'll see how this weaves into our spirituality. Please, if you can do so now, call in and speak to Rich Jesse. He's our call screener. He does a wonderful job. You call in. He'll talk with you for a few minutes. He'll put you on hold. You get to listen live, and then you can share your story. The number to dial is 1-833-288-3986.
Well, this is something everyone can relate to. We all have the highs and lows in life, and maybe it's not especially easy. Maybe you'd have to take a couple minutes to reflect on the lowest point in your life, but give it a little bit of thought, give it some prayer, and give us a call and share. There may be somebody going through what you went through right now. Maybe you are in the midst of it right now. Maybe you are feeling like you're at a low point in life and you just want to share, maybe get some prayer, get some encouragement. 833-288 EWTN is the number. The first ones to call in, the first ones on the air. So be sure you're among that elite group here at 833-288-3986.
I just want to make sure, do we have Rich Jesse today? Is it Rich today? Rich, just confirm. I just want to make sure so when they call up, they can say, "Hi, Rich. Happy Monday to you." So, yes, please call in and share your story. We're interested. We want to journey together. We want to learn and grow. We want to, get a little bit, a better understanding of what people are going through, so we can become more compassionate, more empathetic, all the great virtues that we are called to be as Catholic Christians. So it's important. Your story is important. 833-288-3986 is the number to call. Please. Did we get a confirmation? Is it Rich?
I haven't seen the confirmation yet, but he is screening calls. Whoever it is screening calls right now.
He's doing a great job.
As always.
Whoever
as
it
always.
is.
833-288-3986. Boy, I was pondering this over the weekend, Debbie, this topic. And, the thing is, we all, like I said before, we all go through highs in life and lows in life. And, folks, that includes me, and it includes Debbie. It includes everyone at EWTN. We're not exempt from those kinds of things. And I think I pretty much zeroed it down, Debbie, to, I think it was 2011 when I went through that period of depression. You remember that well. We'd already started doing pledge drives together, and there I was. All of a sudden, I haven't even really processed through everything that happened, but there was just that time when I felt like, I just reached bottom. I thought I was never going to work again, never going to be on the radio again, never going to travel again, not going to do pledge drives again. It could be really, really tough. And thanks be to God, because of His grace and His mercy and many other people and resources, I did manage to emerge from that, thanks be to God. But that for me would probably be the lowest point in my life.
I would definitely agree. Having known you for over 12 years, that was a really tough time for you, very dark, and you couldn't see past the darkness of that. You kept thinking it was always going to be like that, and my heart broke for you. It really did. I spent, I think this. We've talked about it many times. It is Rich Jesse, by the way. Hi, Rich.
Cool.
He's answering calls. But my heart broke for you. I cried many nights just going, Lord, please give him some relief, because it was definitely a low time in your life. But you emerged out of that better and brighter and bigger and bolder. And I love that. And so, let's talk about that as well. When we go to those really low places in life, do we come out of it a better person, a better, just a person that has a different outlook, right? A different viewpoint on life and our own spiritual lives as well. So let's weave that in there if you can. So please share, if you can share the lowest time, but then what happened after that. Okay, we'd like to really hear from you. 833-288-3986. Wouldn't you say that you emerged out of it I mean, my goodness, you go to adoration like every day, daily mass. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I emerged from it a very different person, absolutely. I still have so much to work on in my life, but I think definitely empathy was a big part of it, having gone through something like that. I had never really understood depression or never really, I think, appreciated how brutal it can be. But now I definitely, anytime somebody says they have anxiety or depression or things like that, boy, oh boy, I just pray for them right away and just try and offer some encouragement because I know how important that is when you're going through something like that.
Absolutely. So for me, the lowest point, I mean, I guess a lot of people would just assume it was when I was diagnosed with cancer in 1994, but actually that really wasn't a low point. I think I was in a state of shock when that happened. A low point, the lowest of lows for me absolutely was 2006 with the total, ending of my marriage and family life, and it was just horrific. And then divorce and divorce court, and then post divorce fighting for 2 years afterwards, and it just has left horrible wounds and scars. And that was really low, very low. But I will tell you that I remember I shared this on the show, Jerry. I had this wonderful priest friend who journeyed with me the whole entire time. And he said, Debbie, you're going to go one of two ways. You're going to get really tight with God, or you're just going to drift further and further away. And I lost everything. I was not going to lose God. And, here I am today.
Yeah. No, I know. And you still live with a lot of the effects of that, too. It's, I feel horrible for what you went through, but you were definitely, I think, I didn't know you then, but I would have to say you're probably a much better, holier, more empathetic, compassionate person. So what about you, Take Two family? Our topic today is what do you think was the lowest point in your life? The number to call to be on the show is 833-288-3986.
The pandemic separated many of us from the body of Christ. As many Catholics return to Mass, the Diocese of Birmingham invites you to reflect on the significance of the body of Christ in your life during the year of the parish and the Eucharist. EWTN takes you to the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament in Hanceville, Alabama, Friday, August 13th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, here on EWTN.
EWTN has its own official YouTube channel with tens of thousands of videos covering just about every conceivable topic of interest to Catholics. And, best of all, it's free. Every day, EWTN adds new TV shows, live events, devotionals, homilies, and specials to its YouTube channel. Visit the EWTN YouTube channel today. EWTN, the Global Catholic Network.
We're finally emerging from what has to be the craziest time we've all experienced in our lives. The pandemic got a lot of people off center and stuck in a rut. Help is available. Log on today to standtalltoday.com and schedule a free consultation with one of our growing list of certified life coaches. This could be the start of something new and exciting for you. That's standtalltoday.com, where every initial consultation is absolutely free. We're asking today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, what has been the lowest point of your life? And if you can share some of the details, it's your story, it's your life, so I know you probably have a lot to share, but for the purposes of this very quick hour show, if you can condense it down and really give us, the things that we need to know about your journey, that would really help. So the number to dial is 833-288-3986. And Jerry, if I could I just quickly highlight something real fast?
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, real fast. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I have the wrong one. It's the EWTN News email. So, Jerry, if you have it up, do you have it up in front of you?
Uh,
I do. I do.
okay.
Okay. Well, it's saying here I don't. I have the wrong one. Okay, never mind. Oh, here it is. EWTN News email. Sorry, you guys, it's Monday. Please forgive me. My mother passed away last week, and I've got like papers and funeral arrangements and flowers and things all over the place. So please forgive me if I'm a little discombobulated. Through redemptive Catholic journalism, EWTN News helps advance the gospel and teachings of the church. Get your trusted Catholic news in your email inbox. Visit EWTN.com and click on subscribe. By the way, may I just say something about that? We hundreds and hundreds of posts and comments are coming in on Facebook because I had posted about my mom's passing, and I had asked that if you feel prompted by the Spirit to remember my mom, please have masses said for her soul, Connie Rizzio. But she also loved EWTN so very, very much that if you really want to remember my mom in honor or memory, donate to EWTN for my mom. I think it would just be wonderful. I just had to say that.
Well, and she loved Mother Angelica, obviously, as well. And we do, too. We loved Mother Angelica, and we still honor her memory. And the 40th anniversary of the founding of EWTN is coming up this Sunday. And so what Debbie and I are doing is, during the early portion of every show up until Friday of this week, we are reading a quote, a saying, something wise and maybe prayerful by Mother Angelica. And our producer, Michael Birchfield, picked this one out today, and I think it is a beautiful choice. Mother Angelica once said, "There will be hard times when your faith is attacked and when your doubts will be increased. What will you do? Persevere in prayer now." There will be hard times when your faith is attacked and when your doubts will be increased. What will you do? Persevere in prayer now. That's a quote from Mother Angelica.
Wow, that is powerful. Okay, we have a couple open phone lines. If you'd like to jump in and share the lowest point in your life, we would definitely want to be here to listen and to learn. So the number to dial is 833-288-3986. A beautiful way to remember the number is 833-288-EWTN. Okay, we're going to go to Joseph first in Germantown, Maryland, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Joseph, thank you so much for being first up here on Take Two.
You're welcome. Thank you, Debbie, for what you share. My condolences for the death of your mom.
Thank you.
Very, very sorry because I'm sort of facing the same thing possibly in the future, not too long. My story basically is about my older sister. Her only biological daughter, she was only able to have one daughter and one adopted daughter, is getting married this Saturday, 6 days from now, on Saturday, August 14th. And very like your story, she went through a horrible divorce about 12 years ago, and unfortunately, both of the children sort of have stayed close to my brother-in-law, who remarried with a couple new kids with his new family, and she's been through horrible, horrible times for the past 12 years, back and forth with, trying to take the kids away and then destroying the relationship and lies. And so my sister now faces the fact that her only biological daughter is getting married in 6 days, and she was not invited to the wedding. And it is probably the most difficult moment in her life because she's going through such great difficulty with trying to reconcile with her daughter and with my brother-in-law, despite a horrible divorce. And now she faces the fact that she doesn't feel that she's even wanted at the wedding, even though she tried to create some kind of good environment, and it was rejected. She even sent a beautiful gift that was torn up and thrown away, $1,000 gift. And so her heart is broken, and she's trying to reconcile how to deal with this. And I see her, though, still trying to stay close. Even though she had left her Catholic faith, she's coming back because it's the only thing she really has to hold on to. And she's gotten off the depressant medicines and the anxiety medicines because they were only making things worse. So I just asked for prayers for my sister. Her first name is Laura. And I asked just this week, we've been praying for the miraculous grace of forgiveness in my family for my niece, whose name is Ashley. So I'm just sharing that today about my sister Laura.
Well, Joseph, first, I just want to say I'm so sorry. I can totally, unfortunately, relate. I've been through the same exact experience as your sister, not attending graduations and births of children and weddings and stuff like that, big monumental occasions where it just opens up the heart wound again and pours a bunch of salt and other stuff into the wound and then just leaves it there to be able to deal with. My heart breaks for your sister. The one thing that I can say, and I can just share this from my own perspective, Joseph, is that because I did get so deep into my faith, it has helped with all those broken feelings that you can't seem to fix or to reconcile or to make right. It's not going to happen maybe in this lifetime. And I came to that realization, and it was very freeing for me. And my faith life is stronger now than ever. And that's a beautiful thing. So I would constantly encourage your sister to keep going deep in her faith, never lose hope, never lose joy, because that's just when Satan is just laughing his head off, because he wants us to go to those deepest pits of despair. And with God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. But, I would just share with your sister that, the relationship is a bit broken and changed, but she is her mother and she always will be. No one will ever take that place. So her memories, her good memories are real. They're hers. They are true. And she just needs to hold on to that. That's what I can say just from my own personal journey, Joseph. But as you were speaking, my heart was aching for your sister.
No, I thank you. Because it's hard for me to actually give her consolation in words. So I always just tell her, she doesn't want me to preach to her, so I don't preach to her, but I tell her, we're praying for you. And the ironic thing is our relationship has never been stronger because she's been going through such a difficult time. Everyone else in my family has rejected her, my other two sisters, and it's been such a great challenge. And I have a mother who's 86 years old and in an assisted living facility, and thank God she's still doing okay despite many health problems. But as a grandmother, she wasn't invited to the wedding either. But my oldest sister ends up getting invited to the wedding, and her mother doesn't get invited to the wedding, and my grandmother, or my mother, doesn't get invited. So it's a challenge, but she understands, I think, now that she has to let it go. All she can do is just hold on to the faith that says that God will take care of things in his time.
Right. But Joseph, same thing happened with my mother. It broke my mother's heart. I mean, she was super close to my children. She helped take care of my children. And so, yeah, I can totally relate. Joseph, I want to extend this invitation personally. If you could tell your sister, if she feels comfortable, you could share with her, because you listen to the show, maybe who we are and stuff. If she wants to email me, I would happily get on the phone and talk with your sister.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, Joseph. I would do that. I don't want her as a mother to hurt that. I mean, I think if she could know that there's others that have been through the exact same thing, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it better, but it makes you realize you're not alone. And that's an important thing. So take 2 at EWTN.com. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. I
You got it.
definitely look for it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Lots of prayers, Joseph, and you're named after the one who's the year of St. Joseph this year, so he was obviously the head of the Holy Family, so you've probably already been doing this, but definitely bring St. Joseph and his intercession into this situation, and then just leave it in God's hands, and we will all pray that something beautiful, God can bring something beautiful out of even the most difficult circumstances, so we'll be praying for that, Joseph, okay?
Exactly, and we do a prayer line every single night since the beginning of COVID for the past 18 months. So we're gonna do that, especially through St. Joseph this whole week. So thank you for your suggestion.
Awesome.
Okay,
Good.
God bless you guys.
Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate you joining us on the program as we talk about the lowest point in your life today. What was that for you? On Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, 833-288-3986. Lori is in Las Cruces, New Mexico, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Lori. Welcome.
Good morning, Jerry and Debbie. It's good to talk to you again.
Likewise.
Yes, I would like to share with you a little bit of my story. It was about 4 years ago. 4 years ago, September 10th, my husband passed away of a massive heart attack, and it happened very quickly. And right before he left, he went on a trip. He was a motorcyclist, and it had nothing to do with the motorcycle at all. But anyway, he went on a 4-day trip. But before he left, he joined me at Mass. And it was interesting because he just started coming closer in his faith. And he would join me once in a while. And sure enough, on that day that he left, he slid right in next to me, just as the priest was going through the middle, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, I'm glad he's here, so he could have his sacrament. And so we had a beautiful Mass, of course. Our priest is wonderful. And after Mass, I asked him if he wouldn't mind praying over my husband because he was going to be going on a long journey. So, of course, everybody in the communion area, not the commons area, they all put their hands on my husband, and, we all prayed over him. And so I remember just being so grateful that he had communion and he had a special prayer from my priest. So anyway, we got home, and he was getting ready to go on his motorcycle trip. So, of course, he's loading up all of his gear and all of his stuff, and it's time to go. And I said, okay, Ken, hold my hand, and we'll pray. And so we prayed, and for him to have a safe journey. And so, of course, I have my holy water right by my back door. So I did the normal routine where he would pivot around in front of me, and I would spray him down with holy water. And then I went around his motorcycle and sprayed the tires, sprayed the motorcycle, and I said, Lord, just help him have a safe trip. And so then after that, of course, he took off with his buddies, and they had a great time. They had a great time. But on the way home, he stopped, and he wasn't feeling well. And so, long story short, his best friend put him on the back of his motorcycle and took him to the hospital because Ken was really bad. And he didn't make it into the hospital. He died out in the parking lot of his heart attack. And so in the meantime, I'm here at home, and it happened to be on a Sunday, and I had just come from Mass because I was raising money for the Carmelite nuns who live in our area. And I came home, and I was standing at the kitchen counter, and ready to go and prepare for my husband to come home. Well, I got a phone call, and it said, Ken has not been in an accident, but he's up here in this town, and he's in the hospital. And, obviously it was during the process of everything happening. You need to come. And so, of course, I went with my son, and on the way up there, he had passed away. And so, but the blessing and the most beautiful thing happened when I got there. He was still warm. He was dead, but he was still warm. And that just brought me so much peace, just being able to be with him and hold his hand. And, this is after a long, long marriage of 44 years. We have a beautiful son who I was pregnant with. I was 16 when we got married. And, we always had God in the center of our marriage. And we were blessed with 2 beautiful children and 3 wonderful grandsons, and I'm so happy he was able to meet them. But anyway, fast forward, it's 4 years later, and I'm still not interested in meeting anybody. And, this was my life partner. This was the man I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And so anyway, it was a beautiful journey, and I'm grateful. I was so blessed and so thankful that my husband and I were in communion with Jesus. And of course, I was a convert to the faith in 1976, I became Catholic. And so, I don't know, it was a great journey with him. And so now I live here, and I'm happy to be in a beautiful city, the city of the crosses, Las Cruces.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's something special about Las Cruces. It is covered with the Holy Spirit. It's a beautiful city, and I just love it here.
Lori, hold that thought right there just for a second. This is a beautiful story. This is just so wonderful how our God works and how he was working that entire situation with you. And I believe you said your husband's name was Ken. We'll confirm that on the other side here. We have Lori in Las Cruces, Motocross Charlie, Rosemary, Lou, and Keith. We'll try and get to you all today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
真理に生き、カトリックに生きる。
Mark tayo ang Ernia, Mark tayo ang Castas.
Satyane Jaga, Katolik Raha.
In any language, it means the same. Live truth. Live Catholic. EWTN.
Have you ever heard someone say, we need change? G.K. Chesterton says, modern men are not familiar with the rational arguments for tradition, but they are familiar, almost wearily familiar, with all the rational arguments for change. We should not be too quick to favor the new over the old. We should never tear down a wall unless we know why it was put up. If we don't understand the purpose of a tradition, we should first learn that purpose and then decide if the tradition needs to be changed or if we are the ones who need to change. Maybe the tradition is right and we are wrong.
Spend more time with the Apostle of Common Sense. Visit chesterton.org for more information and go to EWTNRC.com to discover more books and programs written and inspired by G.K. Chesterton.
He was a 10th century saint, priest, mystic, and doctor of the Church, honored as the first poet of Armenia.
Matthew Bunsen and the Doctors of the Church.
Gregory of Narek is revered by Armenians as a watchful angel in human form. His masterwork, the Book of Lamentations, was intended to be his last testament, an encyclopedia of prayer for all nations. He was named a Doctor of the Church in 2015.
For more about the Doctors of the Church, visit doctorsofthechurch.com.
Hi, this is Janet Williams. We embrace the essence of feminine spirituality on Women of Grace tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern here on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
All right, we're glad you're with us here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. What was the lowest point in your life? That is our conversation today. Great calls coming in. We're going to get to as many as we possibly can. Talking with Lori in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Sorry about that abrupt pause there, Lori, but what an amazing story that you were sharing. And first of all, congratulations. I mean, it's a fairly long time ago, but welcome home to you in 1976. As you said, you became a Catholic. And pardon me?
Thank you. And it happened to be July 4th, 1976.
Oh,
so
wow.
Tricentennial. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. What a providential coincidence.
Yes.
But, go ahead.
Yeah. And so bringing me to today, I'm very, very active in my church. And it's the world to me. And I can't imagine not having Christ in my life during all of that. That was a very traumatic experience, to have someone you love, your best friend, someone you thought you'd live the rest of your life with, taken. He was 63 when he passed away. And so he was still so young. He was in great health as far as I could tell. But, it was his time, and the Lord took him. But I keep thinking about those beautiful sacraments that he had before he left, and to receive the most beautiful body and blood, soul and divinity of Jesus Christ. And that just brought me a lot of comfort, just knowing he was in a good place. And it really made this entire journey easier for me because I knew he was prepared and ready. Mm-hmm. And, I had to let him go and say, okay, Lord, he belongs to you. He is not mine. He is yours. And that was a tough one, to give him up. But I did. And I'm doing fine. I'm busy with church. I'm busy with my kids and my grandchildren, and hopefully living a good example for them. And I would like to ask prayers for my children. They're coming closer to the faith, but I think there's always an amazing way to look at your journey through your parents and their lives and all.
Yes,
so I hope
absolutely.
to be a good example.
Absolutely. No. Sounds like you are an amazing example. And I always talk on the show, Lori, about the gentleness of God, how he's so gentle with us at times when we really need that, even at the end of life. And as tragic as it is that, Ken lost his life, I'm sure you've thought of this many times. I mean, it could have been different. I mean, he could have been on the motorcycle, could have been going at full speed and had an accident and been, in some kind of needing some kind of full-time care, for many, many, many years. And again, I'm not making light of the death at all, but it's like this buddy of his got him on his bike, got him to the hospital. It was almost like the Lord was just guiding this whole thing just from a very beautiful standpoint. I think the whole thing was a great big hug from God to you and to Ken and to your family. And about your kids, they will. There's no doubt they will look at how you handled the loss of Ken, and that is going to be, I think, a great catalyst for them in the faith. Debbie, what do you think?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree. I agree on so many levels, Lori. First of all, I just want to say Las Cruces, New Mexico, you're absolutely right. A little slice of heaven right there where you live. Absolutely beautiful. You're very, very blessed. You coming home to the faith, you being that Christian witness and modeled for your children, you loving your beautiful husband for 44 years. That is a lifetime. And how beautiful is that? What a testament to the sacrament of marriage. Lori, I think you're in such a good spiritual place, in a good spiritual part of the country. God bless you. God's going to continue to use you in marvelous ways. And I truly do believe that when you got to your husband and he was warm to the touch, I believe that was a gift from God, just to let you know that God, I believe, that appreciates very much how much you loved his son, his beautiful creation, and I just, way to go, Lori. That's the reason why we believe in the Catholic Church so strongly about marriage. So thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all you do. I listen to you every day. Just want you to know that.
Good. Well, it gives us comfort to know that you're there in the Take Two family, Lori. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Going back to Olympia, Washington, with Motocross Charlie listening on the EWTN app. Hello, Charlie. Welcome back to the program.
Hey, good morning, you guys.
Hey.
You always talk about, Debbie always says, you're compelled by the Holy Spirit.
You're pretty faint, Charlie. We can't hear you real well. If you can maybe get closer to the phone, or we want to make sure that we.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Better.
Oh, much better. Okay,
Thanks.
can you start over? Okay.
Yeah. So I know you guys always say that when you feel compelled by the Holy Spirit to call in. And Debbie, when I heard that your mom passed away last week, it made me grab the phone and dial. My father, as you know, was in the dementia care facility, and yesterday, in the wee hours of Sunday morning, he passed away. And so some people might think that's the hardest day or the darkest day, but it's really not. We had a great experience. My mom and I drove in there. I was gone camping, and I jumped in the truck at 2 o'clock in the morning and flew up to the care facility. Speed limits, of course, but we got to see him, and as Lori was saying, he was still a little bit warm, and we got to give him a kiss and a hug and send him on his way. And so I just wanted to say to Debbie that she's in my prayers. Your mom is in my prayers, and together we're going to get through this, and we're going to be stronger on the other side. Now, I don't mean to go back to an episode that we were doing last week with addiction, but my lowest time was in Christmas of 2008 when I spent Christmas in alcohol treatment, and it was really tough. It was a lot of a lot of self-loathing and looking at yourself saying, why didn't I figure this out? Why did I let this go on so long? Why, trying to put the blame on myself. And so that was one of probably the toughest day for me personally. And but on the outside, once I got out, I was fortunate enough to go to this wonderful place here in Washington State called Schickstadel Hospital. The medical treatment, it's phenomenal for those of us that aren't just casual drinkers, that are hardcore alcoholics like I was. And they got me through it and got me squared up, and I've been sober ever since. And it's been an amazing journey. Married my wife, 2 young boys, as you guys know, that are just absolute world to us. And all I can do is give thanks and praise to God. But the Holy Spirit told me to give a call and give Debbie a virtual hug across the phone line here.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. And right back at you. I mean, this just happened with your precious father, and we're with you. That's the beauty of the mystical body of Christ. If you hurt, we hurt. If you're sad, we're sad. And so I do feel that hug. Charlie, thank you so very, very much.
Certainly welcome, and God bless you guys, and we will continue to be listening. And the other great thing about the passing of my father is I've been so deeply into my faith. My mom and I went to church last weekend, and I went to confession first time in about 3 or 4 months, and we were getting ourselves prepared, and we didn't want Dad to suffer, and the Lord was pretty excited to get him up there to heaven, I think, because he didn't waste much time with him in the care facility. So
right.
The real blessing is now my wife is, we told you we're planning on a move to Tennessee here in the next short period of time, hopefully maybe before Christmas. And my wife is now dead set that when we move back to Tennessee, that she's going to join the church, and she's going to go through RCIA, and she wants the kids in Sunday school, and that's the point. It was living your faith by example, quietly, not mandating, not dictating, but just quietly living your faith, and others observing it and seeing how great God is. So love you guys.
Well, before you go, Charlotte, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is see, your example of living your faith devoutly, your extended family, perhaps your immediate family. This is all. I mean, spouses keep their eyes on spouses who are practicing the faith. The saint of the day, one of the saints of the day, I was at Mass this morning, is Saint Teresa Benedicta of the Cross. Edith Stein, she was born into a Jewish family, and she converted to Catholicism because of a friend of hers who just simply lived her faith the way the faith should be lived, very devoutly, practiced her faith very devoutly. And this led Edith Stein to become a Catholic. She was a great philosopher, and now she's a saint. So this goes to show that any one of us, through our example, more than our words, if we witness to Christ, if we model the Christian life, people are watching, and it's going to have an impact on them. They're going to say, "Wow, there's something about that person, and I want a part of that." And so we're going to pray for your wife and for all of you as you continue to ponder this move, Charlie, and our condolences on the passing of your father. I think we have him in our prayer book, but can you remind us of his name just to make sure that we have his name in there?
Just another Charles. He's one of us. He's
that's right. That's
one
right.
One of the many Charles.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Wow, I know. How many Charles are there?
We looked it back, and it went currently minus Dad. I think there's 5 of us left right now.
Wow.
But it goes back 8 generations before our beautiful country was a nation. So
beautiful.
It's a very important tradition to my family. But and I'm the junior, so my dad was the senior. And
that's right.
What a glorious example he was for me and my grandchildren. So thank you guys. Let me get off this and let everybody else get in here with their good stuff. So God bless you. Love you guys.
Thank you, Charlie.
Love you too. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk soon. Thank you. Wow. See, you know what I think is so beautiful of the Take Two family? I really, I say this all the time, but we have new listeners all the time. We just come together and we learn and we grow together and we journey together. We love, we laugh, we cry together. And that is, I believe that's putting a smile on God's face. I really do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I want to mention before we go back to the calls, EWTN Live coming up in a couple days. We wanted to promo this for you. Wednesday night, EWTN Live, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, with Father Mitch Pacwa and Bishop Stephen Reicha will join Father Mitch to discuss teaching others in and outside the faith about Catholic teachings and evangelism. That's EWTN Live with Father Mitch Pacwa, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern on many of these same EWTN radio stations.
Okay, we're going to go to Rosemary in Lake Placid, Florida. But before we do, Rosemary, real quickly, Dwayne in Coronado, California, you have an incredible story about being a Navy SEAL and coming back after a tour and being wounded and then your marriage ending. Please, Dwayne, if you feel prompted, call back quickly. We'll get you to the front of the line because you were at the beginning of the show. If not, maybe email us, Dwayne. We want to be there for you. And I think there's even a Mother Angelica connection there. So the email is take2@ewtn.com. Okay, Rosemary in Lake Placid, Florida, Sirius XM 130 is the way you're listening and waiting. Thank you. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
How
Rosemary.
Hello. I'm calling because I wanted to share something very tragic that happened to me 50 years ago. It made 50 years on the 29th of May that I've been married. But from the day that I said I do, I should have probably gone right back to the priest and said that my husband didn't really love me and he was not faithful to me. But because of my upbringing, going to a Catholic school, divorce was the wrong thing to do. So I was blessed because I had 2 children that kept me busy, and he had a job that was on the road, and this kept me satisfied until my children were out of college, got married, and then the empty nest syndrome came into play. At that time, everything that was wrong came up, and I took a nervous breakdown. The being unfaithful within the first few months of marriage, having an alcoholic problem, being into pornography, the whole thing. I was just 20 years old, and he was able to get whatever he wanted from me, and I was more of a toy than of a wife. So to this day, I'm still with him, but it's become very difficult, and I'm still going through some therapy because he is now ill and unable to take care of himself completely. He has Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and I am his sole health surrogate.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking for prayers.
Okay. Well, Rosemary, you will definitely have the prayers, and this thought just struck me here. It's probably something you've thought of before. First of all, we're sorry that you've had this 50 years of just not being in a comfortable situation. And, you know, God has scripted this at this point in time, I believe, so that you can be there for your husband, even though he wasn't there for you all of these years. And he needs to probably take care of a few things with God before he dies. I don't know any of the circumstances, and I'm not asking you to tell where he is in his relationship with God, if there is one at all. But I just really believe, Rosemary, that every little act of kindness, gentleness, tenderness, and yes, even love that you provide to your husband right now, you can say, Lord, I offer this to you so that you will heal him of one of the ways that he treated me, you know, or one of the occasions that he treated me. Every one of those, and that could be really, really hard to do, but just think about it. He has an immortal soul, and regardless of how he's treated you and you've had to endure all of this, God still wants him to be in heaven with him and, God willing, with you, Rosemary. So that's just a thought that I had. Every little gesture on your part can be redeeming for his soul. Debbie, I don't know if you have any...
Well, can I share something too? Because I just learned this, and it's exactly what Jerry is saying, Rosemary. I didn't realize this. My mother used to always say when I was growing up, offer it up, all the pain and the suffering and everything you endure. And you have endured a lot over 50 years, Rosemary, and then you continue to still endure quite a bit with this next phase of what's happening, right? My sister, yesterday or the day before, she just was listening to a priest on a YouTube, and she said, you know, that this offering up, you have to be very specific, so that it actually points to that area and be used to redeem and of greater, it has a greater value. So Rosemary, I would say do exactly what Jerry's saying. Offer it up very specifically for this reason and that reason. And I would include yourself and your kids and any other person or situation happening that you would like God to step in and make it better or right. Rosemary, I think you're in a key position to do some really amazing eternal benefits by allowing your journey to be used to better everyone else's situation. Rosemary, I think you're in an incredible position. I know it's a hard position, and it probably is met with a lot of tears and a lot of frustration and a lot of maybe anger. But you know what, Rosemary, you're in a key position, and God bless you for staying strong. I know you've been through a lot emotionally, but you're staying strong, and we're going to pray that for you. What do you think?
I think that's wonderful. Could you pray for my daughter, Stephanie, also? I made the error of telling her that her father was unfaithful to me, and this made it very difficult when I don't have a very good relationship. She didn't want to hear my problems or where it came from. She says, you have a marriage and your problems are yours, and I don't want to hear anything about it. And since I told her this, she has distanced herself from me. So Stephanie needs prayer.
Then, okay, we will pray for that.
She's actually turned away from the church.
Okay. We will pray that for your daughter, but we're also, here's another example, specifically offer it up for that so that you and your daughter can be reconciled. And you know what? Share with her. I made a mistake. Okay, I'm telling you what happened. It's the truth. You were not in a place to hear it or receive it. Let's just rewind and let's not let it break our relationship as mother-daughter. I believe that can stay strong, Rosemary, and we will pray that for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, God bless you, Rosemary. Thanks for joining us on the program. Dwayne is next. He's called back from Coronado, California, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hello, Dwayne. Welcome.
How you doing?
Okay, we're glad that you called back. Thanks for going to the effort. We appreciate it.
No problem. I was driving through the middle of the Sonoran Desert. Cell phone coverage isn't that great. Navy SEAL, 22 years, 6 combat tours. Hit by an RPG, CH-46. Was in the hospital, broken back, broken neck, ruptured spleen, punctured lung, telescopic femoral fracture. The list goes on, subdermal hematoma, fractured skull. I'm married. I lost my right leg below the knee. I'm in Balboa Naval Hospital. My wife of about 3 years tells me she doesn't want the burden of taking care of a disfigured cripple and that she's sleeping with my best friend. Needless to say, it was a very low moment. I was a combat medic, independent duty corpsman. I had taken the IV tubing out of my arm, and I was going to blow an air bubble into the tubing, thus creating an aneurysm that I had hoped would kill me. Not afraid to die, but I didn't want to suffer. And I'm flipping through the channels, and this is no kidding, and Mother Angelica comes on the channel, and when you're living that lifestyle, there are no atheists in foxholes, but it's a very unhealthy lifestyle. You're afraid you're going to die the next day, so you drink a lot and you visit, for lack of a better term, a lot of places of ill repute, and you don't lead a healthy lifestyle, and I thought I was non-redeemable, and I assure you, Mother Angelica saved my life. That lady's a saint. She touched me in a way nothing else ever had. And I'm alive and remarried today, and I honestly, in my heart of hearts, believe it's because of that lady. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Wow, Dwayne, thank you for first of all, for not only for calling back and sharing this, but for your service to our country. It sounds like you really laid it all out there on the line, and we thank you.
I really appreciate it, but you're just doing your job. I want everybody to know that thinks the United States is slipping and the lack of morality is going to bring this country down. There are real heroes left, and there's a lot of them in San Diego, and they fight hard every day.
Yeah. No doubt, but please do accept our gratitude for that, and the story about Mother Angelica. That just gives us an opportunity to mention that this, we mentioned this coming Sunday is the 40th anniversary of the founding of EWTN, and on Friday, in anticipation of that, we're going to do a show. Dwayne, believe it or not, tell us about the moment you found EWTN. So that's a good anticipation of that for our Friday broadcast, but. God bless you, and yeah, Mother Angelica was, she touched so many people's lives, and you know what, you thought there was a time in your life, Dwayne, when you were unredeemable. I think many of us go through that, but God, we're never outside the reach of God's mercy. You have discovered that. Your life has improved in so many ways, and we're so grateful to God. We join you in your gratitude, which must be pretty immense for what God has done in your life, so.
Absolutely.
Debbie,
Yeah, Dwayne, thank you for your service. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for your faith and your openness. And thank God for Mother Angelica being in the right place at the right time to touch you in such a profound way that it forever changed the direction of your life. Dwayne, you've got it's a very, parts of your story are very, very sad and tragic, right? But your story is so powerful, Dwayne. It can't just rest just with you calling in or doing something like that. Have you written it down, or have you put it into some kind of version where it can be spread far and wide? Dwayne, there's a reason you went through all of this.
I have a lot of friends that have written books. I think you should just drive on quietly, and I listen to your show, and of course I watch EWTN, but I want you to know Mother Angelica saved a lot of people. I lost faith in everything. Myself, God, I was at the lowest point of my life. And the only thing that saved me was Mother Angelica. And I viewed, quite frankly, suicide as cowardice. But she really did save my life. And I'll be eternally grateful to her and to people like you. God bless you all. She really did save my life. And because of that, I've created 2 new lives, and they're both in parochial school, and I'm going to raise them in the faith, and just God bless Mother Angelica. That's all I can say. She was a saint as far as I'm concerned.
Wow. Thank you, Dwayne, for sharing those thoughts, and we appreciate your call. Lou and Keith and Rick, we're not going to get to you today. You've got some amazing takes on this, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a part 2 tomorrow. You'll be up first. If you guys call back in, Lou and Keith and Rick and anybody else who would like to share when you went through the lowest point in your life, that'll be a part 2 here tomorrow on Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie. Our thanks again to Michael Birchfield, our producer, Rich Jesse, our call screener, Jeff Burson, who handles social media. I'm Jerry Usher, along with Debbie Georgiani. Thank you, affiliates, for carrying the program. Have a beautiful and blessed day. And in this year of St. Joseph, we ask St. Joseph, pray for us. Amen.
Hi friends, Janet Williams here. Join me every Wednesday on Women of Grace Live as I welcome New Age researcher and blogger for Women of Grace, Sue Brand.